U.S. President Joe Biden has called on all American citizens remaining in Ukraine to leave the country immediately, citing increased threats of Russian military action. Mr. Biden said he would not send troops to rescue Americans if Moscow invades Ukraine. He warned that things could go crazy quickly in the region. Russia has repeatedly denied any plans to invade Ukraine, despite massing more than 100,000 troops near the border. But it has just begun massive military drills with neighboring Belarus, and Ukraine has accused Russia of blocking its access to the sea. The Kremlin says it wants to enforce red lines to make sure that its former Soviet neighbor does not join NATO. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Thursday that Europe faced its biggest security crisis in decades amid the tension. Mr. Biden said, "We're dealing with one of the largest armies in the world, it's a very different situation, and things could go crazy quickly." Asked whether there was a scenario that could prompt him to send troops to rescue fleeing Americans, Mr. Biden replied, "There's not. That's a world war. When Americans and Russia start shooting at one another, we're in a very different world than we've ever been." World leaders, meanwhile, continued their frenzied diplomacy to defuse the current crisis over Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine announced late on Thursday that they had failed to reach any breakthrough in a day of talks with French and German officials aimed at ending the separatist conflict in eastern Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukraine accused Russia of blocking its access to the sea as Russia prepares for naval exercises. Russia's naval exercises will take place next week in the two seas to the south of Ukraine, the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov. Russia has issued coastal warnings, citing missile and gunnery firing exercises. The naval exercises off Ukraine's southern flank are in addition to the 10 days of military exercises currently underway in Belarus, to the north of Ukraine. There are fears that if Russia tries to invade Ukraine, the exercises put the Russian military close to the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, making an attack on the city easier. Russia says its troops will return to their permanent bases after the drills end. Stay tuned for the latest news.